All right, our friends over at ACMOUNT sent us over this W160 car jump starter and inflator 2-in-1 to test out. So I want to go ahead and first of all thank ACMOUNT for sponsoring today's video. It doesn't say it on here, but it is an inflator as well. So it says car jump starter, but it's a jump starter and inflator combination unit, which I think is pretty neat that they're able to do these 2-in-1s, because I think those are the two things that you carry the most, is either a jump pack or a inflator. And so it's nice that it's now in this small package. So let's go ahead and open her up. Okay, there's lots of plastic on this shrink wrap, so let's peel that shrink wrap off here. Goodness. Get it all the way off, all right. And let's see, how do we open this here? Right there. Looks like it comes in a nice little carry case. Oh yeah, comes in a nice little case. Okay, and it's zippered up here. Here's the zipper. And okay, so there you've got the jumper cables on this side for the jump pack, and does it have a charge cable in here? And then and then here's the cable for the inflator. So it is definitely an inflator and jump pack in one. Here's the actual unit. Oh, it's a tight fit in here. And there it is. So let's go ahead and get this fully charged, and then we'll come back and test it out. But looks like that's where you install the inflator. And my guess is this is where you, those are where the USB charging ports are. And then I think the jump starter section goes in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that charged up.
The next day.
Well, when you work on classic cars long enough, if you go on a road trip, you usually bring a couple of these things. So you usually bring a tire inflator with me in case I can't find a gas station. And of course, this plugs into the cigarette lighter. And because I work on a lot of classic cars, I get a jump pack too. You know, usually the battery's okay, but you never know. You want to bring this stuff with you. And so usually I just have this stuff sitting in the trunk and carry that with me at all times. Then when the battery versions came out, occasionally if I go on a trip, I'll carry this Milwaukee M12, which is a battery operated air inflator, and I'll bring this instead of this one. But I still have to bring the jump pack. Well, now they have combination jump pack and inflators. And ACMOUNT was kind enough to send us one of theirs. And so I did the unboxing already. So went ahead and charged the battery last night. So let's go ahead and test it out. We'll run through the specs here real quick. Okay, let's go over the specs real quickly. So it's the ACMOUNT W160 3000 amp car jump starter with tire inflator. And let's see, maximum tire pressure is 150 PSI inflator. It's a 12 volt jump pack for up to a 9.0 liter gas engine or an 8.0 liter diesel engine. I don't have anything that big, so I won't be able to test it out. The largest car I might have is a 5.0 liter V8. I won't be able to test that part out of it, but we'll just take it at its word. And what other specs are there that we can talk about? It's got a couple of USB outputs that go 5 volts, 2.4 amp outputs. So you can use it to power up your cell phone, charge some of your USB accessories, things like that. The weight is 3.2 pounds, and the dimensions are about 5 inches by 10 inches by 4 inches. So very compact. And let's see, and it's listed on sale on Amazon for $69.99 for a limited time. Then you get an additional 20% off using the promo code. And then with the promo code that I have, you get an additional 5% off, and that's listed in the comments below. So those are the quick specs. Let's jump back into the test. Here it is. So it's about a little bit bigger than my jump pack, but definitely smaller than the two of them together. So we're gonna go ahead and try and inflate this tire. This tire has been giving me a lot of problems. I don't drive this car very often, so not gonna replace the tire yet, but it goes flat and holds air for maybe a couple days. And you know, usually I'd get out here with the Milwaukee and pump it up and then drive it, you know, around for a day or two and then have to pump it up again. So we're gonna go ahead and see how well the AC mount pumps it up. The nice thing about this Milwaukee is you just set the pressure, which on this vehicle, I usually pump it up to about 35, and then you turn it on. Once it hits 35, it kind of automatically shuts off. So let's do the same here. I'm gonna time it with the AC mount, and then we'll come back and time it again with the Milwaukee M12, just to kind of give it a comparison. We'll have to wait a couple days for the air to deflate out of the tire before we do that, but we'll go ahead and do the AC mount one first. Okay, they give you all the accessories in here. The one thing I did notice is they do give you a USB-C cable, but they don't give you the little power brick. So you need to have one of those in order to plug it into your outlet at home, or a DC adapter to plug it into your car, which is probably what I'll do. Is I'll probably add a little adapter in here to go along with the cord. That way I can charge it in the car. So real simple. You just take this end and screw it to the top. I need two hands to do it, so let me do that first. Okay, I was just reading the instruction manuals on how to inflate your tires, and this also does an automatic cutoff. So we'll turn it on, and that's in kPa, so we'll change it to units to PSI, and it needs to go to 35 PSI. There's an interesting thing here. It said mode, so I'm gonna click mode, and you can see there's a car, and it does motorcycle mode, bicycle mode, and that's called I guess that's the basketball mode. So I'm just gonna leave it in PSI. This is not a quick adapter like I put on my Milwaukee, but that's no big deal. So let's go ahead and try to inflate it, and then we'll also time it. Okay, so let me get this connected. Oh, let's see. It doesn't tell me what the current PSI is, so let me measure it real quick. All right, according to the Milwaukee, it's currently at 26.5. It usually goes down to 24, and it's been out for a couple days. But we'll go ahead and, really unscientific, we'll go ahead and measure it from here, 26.5, and we'll start that as a starting point, and we'll try and do a side-by-side comparison. So let's get the AC mount reconnected. Okay, so I've got it connected now, and even though the Milwaukee was showing 26.5 on the AC mount, it's showing 26. It's fully charged, so let's go ahead and get it to start, which is this button here, and then we'll time it and see how long it takes to inflate. Got it set to 35, and we're gonna go ahead and get it started. Let me get my stopwatch back here. Okay, so we're gonna set it 35 and go ahead and start it. But it's not stopping. It's kind of interesting. Oh, there we go. So a little bit longer. It was reading 35, and then it kept going even though it didn't stop. So when it finally stopped, it was 1 minute 30 seconds. Okay, it's been a couple days, and the tires deflated back down to 29. But when we started the test on the AC mount, is at 26. So I'm gonna go ahead and deflate it just a little bit to get it to 26.5. All right, so I'm at 26.5. So now it's kind of the same starting point as when we did the AC Plus. So let's go ahead and see how long this Milwaukee M12 takes to inflate this tire. It's fully charged, so let's go ahead and set up the timer and start it and see how the times compare from the AC to the M12 unit. And here we go. Okay, so a little slow on my stopwatch, but probably about 1 minute and 8 seconds for the M12. About 30 seconds longer than the Milwaukee. That gives you an unscientific comparison, but really fairly comparable. I mean, off by about 30 seconds. It doesn't show a decimal point on the on the reading for the PSI, which is not a big deal, you know, when you're carrying this for an emergency. It's fairly quiet, I noticed, compared to the Milwaukee. It's fairly loud, but the AC mount was fairly quiet. So let's go ahead and test some of the other features. I mean, it's got a nice flashlight on it with a strobe light, a sort of SOS light and a strobe light. So that's handy when you're sort of parked on the side of the road. You want to make sure that cars don't hit you. So let's go ahead and charge the try the jump pack part of this. I got to go find a car or motorcycle that has a dead battery, and then we'll test out the jump pack part of it. Okay, so I'm here on an old Airhead. This is an 1978 R80/7. And I think the AC mount, a 2-in-1 air pump plus jump pack, is like perfect for a classic bike like this, because it's easy. It'll fit in my saddlebag real easy. But this one is completely dead. As you can see, I turned the key on. It's got a little bit of juice, but it's not enough to start the bike. So you can hear it. It's trying to go. So it'll click, but it's definitely not enough. So it's great to have this jump pack with this bike. And then I think my air pressure is really low. So we'll go ahead and simulate sort of a real world scenario where I need to jump the bike and add a little bit more air to the tire. So let's find where the valve stem is. And let me see how much, if I can inflate both tires and then jump start the bike, because I think that'll be the testament to like how well this works in the real world. So still got a little bit of air in it. Battery's at full charge. I think 35. So it's at 6 PSI. So it's going to take a while to get it inflated. But let's go ahead and let it inflate, and then we'll see if we can jump start the bike. Okay, so just finished inflating the front tire, and it took it off about 1 bar. So let's go ahead and inflate the rear tire and see what's left. Okay, now here's one thing I ran into. The valve stem on the bike is way up high. What happens is the hose is a little too short, so the jump box is off the ground. Let me back it up a little bit, but you know, if you're out in the wilderness and you have this, just be aware that it's gonna hang, maybe put a box under it. And if the bike was running, obviously you don't want that hose sitting on your exhaust. If it's near the exhaust, you're gonna melt that hose. So just be careful of that. So let me roll the bike back a little bit just so I can get that jump pack on the ground. Okay, this rear tire's been sitting for a little bit, so it's not too bad. It's at 14. So let's go ahead and air it up. Okay, so back tire's now inflated to 35, and it didn't go down on the bar. So I still got 3 bars out of 4 here, so almost fully packed, or almost fully charged, still fully charged. So let's go ahead and test out the battery. This bike's been sitting for a while, and we just started trying it out. So let me test the battery. I've got a little battery tester here, so let me hook this up, and let's see what the condition of this battery is. Okay, well, this was some eBay purchased battery, so it actually doesn't list what the cold cranking amps are supposed to be. It's got 500 listed here, so let's just check the condition if it's supposed to be 500 cranking amps. Okay, so it's saying 65% of charge, state of health is 2%, state of charge 15%, resistance. Okay, so this battery, not in great shape. Again, it's not enough to get the bike started. The lights will turn on, my dash lights are on, but yeah, it sounds like it's starting to go. So let's get the jump pack on and see how it works. Got it all connected. I'm gonna turn it on, and we're in the wrong mode here. Actually, let me figure out how to get it in the right mode here. Okay, I guess I don't need to do a whole lot to get it to jump start, so we'll go ahead and turn it on. Let me let the gas flow a little bit, and then get the choke on so that I can get this thing. Oh man, that choke cable's a little stuck. Okay, I think that's on for the choke. So let's give it a try. Get the key on, and is this thing on? Maybe I gotta turn it on here. Okay, now that, it looks like it's trying to charge. But again, this battery is completely dead. It's in really bad shape. So we're gonna give it our best attempt to try to get it to go, but we may not we may not get there. So let's give it a try. I see a little blinking red light. So it's on. It's got 3 battery, and the light's coming on. I do see the light, but let's try it. Yeah, this battery is completely dead. So I'm gonna let the jump pack sit on here for about 10 minutes, see if it'll give the battery enough juice, and try it again. Okay, now I'm getting red and green alternating. It was just green a second ago. Basically, I had to unplug this part from the jump starter, and I plugged it back in, and now I can see the battery's only down to like 1 bar. So I don't know if it'll even turn on the bike, but doesn't look like it. So now it's just red again, but it was flashing red, but now it's just red. So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong, but maybe I need to charge it overnight. So let's go ahead and charge it up again, and we'll try and repeat this test tomorrow.
The next day.
Okay, so I left this charger charging overnight. So now it's got a full charge, and now you can see it's going from green to red, green to red. So that's what the instruction says to do, is to make sure that it would alternate green to red, green to red. So we don't have to turn anything on. It's connected to the battery. Let's just see if it'll crank over. Yesterday when I was doing this test, I was actually getting a fuel leak from my carburetor, so I think the float is stuck. The float valve is stuck. So we're not going to try and start the motorcycle today, but let me just see if I can get it to at least crank over to test the battery pack. So here it is. Oh, got pretty bright light, so let's see if it'll crank over. And it worked. Got it to start, crank over using the jump pack. So jump pack works, but it's got to be fully charged. So I don't know if it's going to work with inflating both the front tire and the rear tire and then trying to jump it. I think there's probably just not enough juice for it to do that, but seems to be able to start the bike, no problem. So there you go. Successful test on the AC mount. I think I'm going to start carrying this in the car and on the bike as well, because it's such a small package that it's really nice to be able to just carry this one thing versus having a jump pack and an air inflator, even though the air inflators are small now. But carrying both is just kind of a pain in the ass. So good product. I'll put the link for this in the description below. And I think I have a discount code for you as well, so go check it out. All right, so here are some final thoughts on the Jump Start Inflator combo unit from ACMOUNT. Certainly it's a smaller form factor, smaller package than carrying a separate jump pack and inflator. Doesn't matter if you carry a cordless inflator or one of these older style that you plug into the cigarette lighter. It's definitely a smaller package than carrying 2 of these, especially on a motorcycle where you've got limited space. You know, in a classic car, there's more space, so you can fit one in the glove box and maybe one in the trunk. But again, this is so small, it's so easy to carry all the time. Now, the chances of you getting a flat on both your front and rear tire and needing to jump your motorcycle or car is going to be very rare. So in sort of my mini torture test, this unit struggled a little bit to inflate both tires from basically flat and then try to jumpstart the motorcycle from a really bad dead battery. So that's a really extreme circumstance. I don't think that would happen sort of day to day. So overall, I think this is a winner. I'm probably going to buy another one to put as a spare. So I'll carry one on a motorcycle and then transfer it over to whatever car that I'm driving, and then carry another one in another motorcycle, and keep one in another car. So I think these are just great to have around, especially on longer trips, you know, where you may not have access to a auto parts store or a gas station in between It'd just be really nice to be able to have this. It's really small, doesn't take up much space, fits underneath the seat or in a side bag, no problem. Definitely take a look at it. I put a link in the description below, and AC Mount was kind enough to provide everybody here with a discount code, so that's also in the description.
If you're enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and to the newsletter using the links below. We'll share more tool buying tips, classic car and classic motorcycle project finds, some motorsport news, and maybe a wrenching tip or two.